How silly is that, building skyscrapers out of wood? What's that for? And how could we manage this? Well, that's the question was my question. So I want to start with a picture which gave the start to this. If we look at this planet, his ecosystem, it's a closed system. Outside, there's minus 273 degrees, and there's just death. So we should care about it. And at the moment, everybody knows that caring is not the issue. We have a problem with water, air, biodiversity. For those who don't know, bees and insects are mainly responsible that mankind has food. If they disappear or decline, that should be an alarm. I didn't hear the ring. And many, many other things. But most important, it's the resource issue. We think we have endless resources. We can grow and grow and grow. And the answer to the financial crisis, where we just print more money, like billions, hundreds of billions, we can solve it. We cannot print more nature. The debt there is there, and that's a big problem. And people talking about the financial crisis, they think, oh, we just need growth. No problem. Growth. If you have a closed system, and you don't have to be a Nobel Prize winner for that question, and you put in another system called economy, which is growing, what's going to happen? That's the point which made me think about these issues. It was the point 10 years ago when I took over the company of my father in the fourth generation. It's a construction company. And I thought to myself, okay, what am I going to do with that? But more important, what am I going to do with my life? Is there a possibility to make a change, to be a change, to use this company, everything I got, to make this change? And that's when I met Bio Schmidt-Blake. He's a great guy. He's one of the biggest ecologists, and he changed my mind totally. And he made me see, believe. And then I realized that resource is the problem. And I'm in construction, so let's thought about what are the challenges in this field. So you have to think about how will people live tomorrow to know what probably the task is. So the cities are growing. People are moving from land to the cities. We have a lot of cities, over 1 million people. Now 50%, in the future 75%. So cities have to get sustainable. Otherwise, no use for sustainable construction if we don't address the cities. So we have to make new ideas, new systems to make buildings in cities and to address these issues. So others are thinking about that too. They say, hey, let's go up. This is not very sustainable, not even from the financial side. So we believe we have to build high buildings in cities, but not that way. So we believe too, this is really, really bad too. It causes traffic, it uses land, so that's not an option for us. So we said we have to develop something to go up, but sustainable. Second thing, the construction site today is totally chaotic. So everybody knows construction industry is the second oldest economy. Some of you know the oldest economy. And still, we have so many innovations, new technology, but the way we build is a mess. 30% waste on such construction sites, total chaos, noise, and dust. So we have to make a different approach. We have to have some system approach, because if we want to spread our idea, our technology, it has to be some kind of system that other peoples all over the world can adopt it and use it there where they are with their resources. So 40% of all worldwide resources we take out of this earth is used by construction. We're the biggest of those. So no way to say, okay, let the others go first. No way. So when we talk about resources, we think 1 kilo is 1 kilo, and yeah, we see the mass. Sometimes we don't see the real resource behind the resource. And when I ask the question, like Bio Schmidt-Blake, my godfather in ecology, like he asked, how heavy is 1 kilogram of copper? I mean, how silly is that question? It's not silly, because 1 kilogram of copper weighs 500 or 350 to 500 kilograms in real. What you have to take out of nature just to get 1 unit. So, knowing that, you have a different approach to your building, to the material in the building, when you really want to make a resource efficiency like factor 10, which was proposed by Bio Schmidt-Blake and his factor 10 club. We have to achieve factor 10, more resource efficiency with everything we do, otherwise there's no way out. There will be scarcity in resources, there will be wars about resources, and there will be a lot of problems on this planet if we don't find another way. And the other way doesn't mean more of the same, more technology, because the rebound effect always hits you from the back. The better technology always had more resource demand. So, if we really know the weight, and if we were to have to carry it, like the jeans would be quite heavy with 32 kilograms, or your computer with 1.5 tons, but that's the way it is. That's why we, constructing a new building, making a new concept, said we have to kick out everything with a bad resource rucksack and take the good stuff in. That's why we believe we will not need these 2 planets Earth. But if we proceed the way we are, in 2030, it will be 2 Earth needed. It's not going to work out. So our goal was to go in cities to make a difference, to use the right material like wood, for instance, and have a systematic approach to make it fast, easy to learn, easy to adapt. I will not make a difference in my lifetime if I just erect 3, 4, 5 buildings a year and they say, oh, looks nice, it's out of wood, you know. Nobody cares. If you don't bring it out and spread it, and everyone in the world can use it because it's so simple and can make his own business out of it, probably because it's such a perfect system, then we win. So wood. Wood has an issue, you know. First, wood is healthy. There are studies living, working in wooden surroundings, office building, houses, when you sleep. It's a really healthy thing. And that's one thing. The other thing is we use it pure. We don't cover it. There are a lot of concepts in the world using wooden buildings and all that stuff. Most of them are prototypes, not proven, and then they cover all the wood up. So you have to write on the wall, oh, there's wood behind that. And you even need more material to cover it. So that's not our approach. So wood is the thing for us. So now we're talking about resource scarcity. So now we cut down all the woods and then we have houses and no more woods. That's not the case. Because in Austria, for instance, wood is, besides water, the only resource we have more than we need. And if we think about a skyscraper out of wood, the one we proved, it grows in 2.5 hours in Austria. And Austria is a small country. So that's very, very important message. So there's no way, no problem to have more woods. Because if you use wood instead of monoculture stuff in the agriculture industry, you have biodiversity, 10,000 species in the wood. People can go there, can play there. So we have so much possibilities to make it good. And if some people ask me, like in the plane, what is your job? Then I say, we are producing carbon storage technology. And they say, hey, great. Sounds very technical, sophisticated. You have a new method. And I said, yeah. The best method in the world is photosynthesis. Okay, so you just take CO2, sunlight, you make wood out of it and oxygen, and then you take the wood and make buildings. That's how you take the CO2 out of the air and store it for 100 years. That's the way we do it. Then we can give it back. Our system approach makes it possible to disassemble it. After lifetime or during lifetime, parts of it, disassembling, bringing back to the people. Urban mining is the issue. In 100 years, people will grab, they will search for all the resources in the cars, in the houses, in the industrial countries. So how will they get back the stuff from the buildings if you not today design it for building back? And that's what we do. I think that's responsibility. I don't think that you can do this without a system. So now we made a concept, and the concept says, okay, up to 30 stories, I want to see 100 meters skyscrapers out of wood. Then we use a hybrid timber construction to address the issues. 90% improved CO2 balance. This building has just 40% of the weight of the load of a normal building. 40% of the weight means less stress in the ground. You save money there. With no noise, no dust, and you're very, very fast. So I go back on this because people said that's not possible. And there's the saying, everybody's saying, that's not possible until somebody shows up who didn't know that. And he just does it. So we tried it, and we said we want to prefabricate it because we want to source the stuff where the people live, not carry everything all over the planet. So we deliver technology, the ideas, in cooperation, and you can trigger new businesses, green, really green jobs. Because we make it possible for all the people all over the world working with this system, architects, companies, small companies, to produce these parts. So that was one thing. So the technical issues, we have a core, and on this core we put all the slabs. Then we have these double columns out of wood and these hybrid elements. And in the ceiling, we don't need an additional, for the technical elements, an additional ceiling. We just put it between the beams and use the space there, and it's all prefabricated. So just plug and play. It's like Apple. So you can have any facade on this, so you don't have to be afraid, oh, there's just one building type in the world. It's not. You can have different approaches, whatever you want. And this is the process I managed. How, design it, reuse it, get it back. We don't have supporting walls because we have a span of 9.5 meters on this. So you have the total flexibility on the floors to reuse it or convert it. So we go to the proof of concept. We have this fire issue. Everybody says wood, dangerous, fire, danger. So we had to test it. We had to prove it. And so we put our slabs in for 2 hours in this hell. That's the biggest oven in Europe to test this stuff. And here you can see what happens. And here you see what's after. And wood burns, but burns safely, because you know exactly how much wood is going back by burning and how much is left. And what's left, the 98%, 95% has the full support. If you have a steel building, fire, 750-degree, done. So it's more safe to build with wood, but we have a problem by the authorities, and that's a long way to go. So for me, it's very important to prove. So what we did is we built this 8-story building in Rhomberg, in Austria, just to prove that without covering, uncapsuled, we're able to build this building. We did this part. The core was before built. This part you see now is 8 days. 8 stories in 8 days with 5 people. All the people you see there are visitors. So we had 800 visitors and 5 people building up this. And this could happen everywhere in the world in a quality which is so much better because it's prefabricated. So you can go to a millimeter accuracy and you can make it as a passive house then. That's the only way to do it. And that's, you see how fast this can work. And it's already tight from every floor. So it doesn't matter if it rains the next day. What is very important is that now other countries, they ask us, and one of these 800, until now we had 3,000 visitors from Australia, from Japan, from the US, from Canada. And now Canada makes a really big move on this because they have so much wood exporting all the trees and building the same conventional way. So they said, hey, why don't we use the wood for ourselves to make a better product out of it with a worthy product, but we don't know how to go up because they know wood, 1-2 stories, but the technology and the knowledge in Austria and Vorarlberg is very, very high. And that's the way to export this know-how in a fast way. They're now trying a project in Prince George where they called for the best technology in the world just to find somebody to prove that it's possible so they can change the whole market there and the whole economy concerning building with wood. And we are part of this contest now. So hopefully we'll be successful. The second project is very big too. It's just 5 stories high, but 120 meters long. So my skyscraper just fell, but at least I got it with 100 meters. So I'm on my last second, so I want to give a very, very big word for spreading not just the idea, spreading the technology, whatever you know. Encourage people all over the world to be part of this and follow your dreams, push the limit, but not the limit of the planet, the limit of your awareness and the consciousness. Thank you very much.